What is up, everyone? Welcome to episode 5 of the GVGCast. I feel like we're on such a different pace with this. Like
I know.
Yeah, 3 weeks in,
really.
and or 5 weeks
nice,
in.
Kinda.
Yeah, it's kind of nice to not be at like episode 28 by now. But as you may have surmised, given the look of the panel, I'm your host for this episode, Steve Bowling. I'm joined as always by my good friend, GVG co-founder Derek Bittner. Ash Paulson is out on vacation in Las Vegas. I hope he's losing a lot of money right now. As you can see, our good friend and art director, Daniel Alba is here. I'm dropping Evernight, man. It's too much to say. And the one you might know as the man who calls me bitch, none other than Nick Sumas, is actually like coming to you live from just another room in my house. How's it going?
Hello, bitch.
Damn, we're starting early. Oh.
I mean, it's we've had him on multiple times. You guys are on the same camera, but with the layout we have, we kind of have to separate you two.
Yeah, he's not even in touching distance. He's not even.
Nope.
I feel so you're too far away, man. I miss you. But yeah, we're normally on the same camera. We were going to be in the same room, but we didn't have like a second professional grade mic, so I didn't want you guys to hear me twice. Hearing me once is enough. But so you can thank your ears for the fact that Nick is in my kitchen. But Before we jump too far into things, I do want to call out our first sponsor, the Game Orb, who is sponsoring this episode. Thank you so much, as always, for your support. I am winging it because I don't have the copy in front of me, but the Game Orb is a fledgling YouTube channel that does a bunch of Let's Plays. I was on it recently. Ash was on it recently. We played Mario Party. His friend Galactic Reaper and him are kind of co-sponsoring in a way. If you could go to their channels and subscribe. If Derek, could you get that pinned in the chat for me, please?
Yes.
Sorry guys, it's Friday. I drank a lot last night. We'll talk about that in a minute.
You know, that kind of happens a lot when Nick's around. I've
it does.
I am not the bad influence, by the way.
That is a bold-faced lie.
You know, I'm still willing to believe that because I
about.
know Steve's other stories. So
That's true. I do have a lot of stories. Look, I'm drinking water. It's fine. But anyway, thank you so much to the Game Orb, Galactic Reaper. They are closing in on, I believe, 550 right now, right? I'm looking it up right now. But we recently played Mario
450.
Party. 450. Okay, guys, let's get them to 500. There's 84,000 of you. just 76 of you. Go out there and subscribe.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot of people. Our audience is bigger than most small towns. That's a weird thing to say. Anyway,
that's a very weird thing to say.
Yeah, I'm just saying. There's got to be 76 of you that like watching me and Ash play Mario Party. So if you like that, head over to the Game Orb. There's a video of us doing exactly that. If you want to see some high-level Splatoon 2, Eddie's also putting up videos like that. But anyway, I hope, thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for sponsoring this episode of the GVG Cast and so many others, as well as TNT before that. You're the best. We love you. Please go show your support to the Game Orb and Galactic Reaper at the links pinned at the top of chat right now if you're here on YouTube. If you're on one of our podcast services, check the description below. There will be some information for you there. But it's Friday, guys. We're here. I feel like it's been a long week somehow. We made it.
Yes, it does.
So I'm going to start with you, Derek. How you been, man? What you been up to? You were telling me some stories before the show came on.
So I didn't get the best sleep the night before. Thankfully, I did today, so I'm feeling a lot better. But yeah, the night before, I was up till 12:30 because even though Square Enix said that the Stranger of Paradise demo would be out today, typically for Nintendo, that means right after the show. That's not what they meant. It didn't go live until 9 o'clock my time. By the time it was downloaded, because it takes freaking forever to download anything on a PlayStation console, I didn't actually get to start playing it until like 10:30.
Wow.
It was ridiculous. And so I did a bit of a stream, played it, didn't finish until about 12:30 in the morning. I was like, okay, time for bed. 12:30 isn't late. Back in the old days, George Pruitt. But when you got a toddler who is not sleeping the entire night yet, and he decided to wake up pretty much as soon as I was ready to go to bed, that's it. And he did not fall asleep until 3:30.
Oh
yeah.
Oh,
and then
brutal.
He woke up again at about the pets woke up at 5:30, scratching at the door, wanting attention, which woke him up. And so Yeah, that was it. I'm up.
Oh.
I was up that long, and unfortunately, Amy is usually a gem and helps me out by just like, here, I'll watch him for this little bit, go get a nap, recover a bit. Unfortunately, she had a migraine, so she was dealing with some crap that day as well. So I'm trying to help her as much as possible while being in a complete daze. Eventually, she felt good around 5 o'clock, so I
Oh
napped until
no.
about 8. So I was yesterday was kind of a wash, but I am making good progress on a video I've been working on. I've been teasing it for how long? I'm just going to go ahead and say what I'm working on, because nobody's going to steal this idea. This is too much damn work to steal this idea.
Nope.
Oh God, I'm doing a retrospective on the entirety of the Shin Megami Tensei series.
That's a lot.
That is 50 plus games.
That's a lot more.
You can steal it if you want, Jansen. I have a feeling you'll run out of time.
Yeah, I'm covering in this video. I'm going to be covering every non-remake and non-mobile game. So
that's an impressive level of
50
effort.
Plus.
Yes.
That is a lot of work to put in, man. I do not envy you, but I've been seeing the revisions coming through, and it's epic in proportion.
As of right now, I am close. My goal is to finish it by this weekend. I have 18 games left to cover. I am currently on page 25 of my script, and that's without edits and stuff.
That is pretty wild.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty interesting to have a Shin Megami Tensei like thesis for your PhD or something like
pretty
that.
much is a
Pretty much
thesis.
is, right?
The thing is, it is intense, but it's also fascinating. And I think that's what's been keeping me going, because the stuff I learned is really interesting. For example, Shin Megami Tensei is not used to describe a lot of things in Japan. It is mainly kept to the main series. It is only used a lot. Well, it used to be used a lot in America because of the success of Shin Megami Tensei 3, in which case they were like, well, this sold well. Hey, this is part of the same sort of series. Check it out, type thing. So, no, Squire, it's not just core. I'm 50 plus games. I am talking about Persona 1, 2, 2 part 1, 2 part 2. Digital Devil Saga, the Shin Megami Tensei Pokemon-esque game. There's a lot.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, there's a lot, and I'm not going in depth, but the idea is here's how they connect to each other. Here's a little story synopsis to get the basics of the plot, and here's what changes they made to the gameplay. Some are longer than others, but there is that. And I'm not covering re-releases, so I'm covering Persona 5, not Royal, covering Persona 4, not Golden. Again, not re-releases, only original releases.
That's still a lot.
So I feel like I know more about Shin Megami Tensei than most people at this point.
That's the cool thing. This is going to be the premiere video for people to learn about the entirety of the Shin Megami Tensei series. So I really hope this video does well. I think it will.
I hope so. I will say it was inspired by the release of Soul Hackers 2, just me looking into it, or the reveal of Soul Hackers 2. It's that game is like 5 layers deep in far of spin-offs. It is ridiculous.
Oh yeah, I can believe that. I mean, I've taken a cursory look at the series, and I had no idea after looking at your script like how many games there were. Like, when I thought, it'll be like 5-10 games, like not a lot. No. And then when you start getting into we're talking what, like 50 something games,
something like that. I have some dedicated SMT friends like Catherine, who did our analysis for SMT 5. There's games on this list that she didn't know about.
Whoa.
The rabbit hole goes deep.
Yes,
it's pretty wild.
It's intense, and I am not. Another thing is, I'm not splitting into parts. I want to do this as one complete video, because something I learned from my release of my Metroid movie, splitting up doesn't work too well. The later parts always get less views, and I'd rather do the Cadicris method and just have it right there.
Yeah,
and that way it's all there, available. So my goal is to have it ready by the end of March.
Nice.
So
Awesome.
I think it's gonna
gotta give me
great.
some time. I'm trying. I can have a lot of other content up until that point, but there it is. That's what I've been working on and teasing for how long.
Nice. Yeah. That's awesome. Daniel, how have you been, man? Like, what have you been up to?
I've been good. Unlike Derek, who's producing a movie right now,
I know, right?
I
Only my
really-
second one.
pretty much. I just this week I released my first actual like scripted video for Good Vibes Gaming, and that was exciting. It's only
Yeah.
5 minutes long, but that's the whole point of the format. I wanted this to be a lot shorter. Like I was gonna put this on Twitter as like a test, like a 2 minute, 20-second video. And I got too ambitious with it and it became longer and longer. And then I put out what I had, just like the 4 minutes or so in for our little crew to see. And everyone was very, very kind and positive about it. And was like, why don't we just make this a feature for the day? And so I added more to it and we released it, and everyone was very kind as far as like reception for it, more so than I was expecting, because I wasn't sure if like my style, my humor was gonna fly with everybody.
It was great.
Mm-hmm.
It's been, yeah, actually,
As I saw, I was like, yeah, this is channel material.
that's the first time I heard your opinion on it, Steve. I the whole time we were just kind of, it just kind of went over everyone when I was trying to get it out, but I'm glad you like it too. I
was quiet out of jealousy. No, I'm just kidding. It's fantastic, man. You did great.
Plotting
work.
your demise.
Exactly. I was like, how do I hide a body?
This is your first and only video.
Yeah, that's the only one I'm gonna have out there. Yeah, no, it was interesting because we don't really have any content that length. Everything's kind of like features that are 20 minutes or so long or longer, or like our discussions or the podcast itself. So yeah, if certain things come up in the future that I could think of, I'll probably think about doing more in the future. We'll see. We'll see what.
Ooh.
If we get some ideas from the crew, we'll see what can happen one day. But yeah, that was a trip. And just as we'll discuss later, I've been playing certain games of certain reputations that have come out this week.
That sounds
good and bad.
way worse than you're probably intending it to sound.
You know,
Daniel Alba,
to say that Daniel has visited the red light district this week.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh
no.
Boy. Do we?
Oh,
do we
he
need to
went
get
so
you
bad
a,
it froze Daniel's
arrow
camera.
Oh,
don't worry. I always
There
I have
we
the fix
go.
button. Don't worry. But yeah, that's more or less my week and day job stuff. But what can you do about that?
yeah, that's fair. I mean, great work on that video, though. By the way, like it
yeah,
really is
absolutely.
fantastic. I thought it was hilarious. I like that Breath of the Wild invented vistas. That's gonna be something that,
my
that
God.
becomes part of my lexicon from now on.
My favorite bit has to be the Mario 35 one, where it just gets Thanos snapped as I'm describing how much I enjoy it.
Oh,
Poor
Mario.
My favorite is still the GameCube joke of the you wait your turn and you're okay. Okay, you can be out there. It's nice subtle joke.
Mario
Yeah.
Sunshine that's like
Yeah.
allowed to be on there. Oh yeah.
Poor Mario.
I guess I'm just better for short-term stuff.
I don't sell
It's
yourself
easier.
short, but
Yeah.
but yeah, it was a great, like you came out of a cannon with that one, man. Like it was really exciting to see you kind of like have so much energy and enthusiasm. Like I think all your energy goes towards walking uphill generally, but seeing you apply it to content creation was really cool, man. You did a great job.
I've been harnessing this power. I've been around all these talented individuals, just slowly gathering their strength, and that's where it all went to that one video.
Sucking the life out of us.
I wouldn't go that far, but he definitely has more life energy than all of us put together. I've seen it happen. Just ask. Well, I won't rehash packs again. I'm just saying, man. I wouldn't walk a mile anywhere for a cookie, and you did it uphill somehow both ways, probably carrying Ash on your back the whole way.
Ash did it as well. It was definitely easier going down than uphill, but I think everyone's projecting my strength a little too high. I don't know.
I literally saw him crack a walnut with his butt cheeks. I'm just saying. Anyway, moving on. Nick, how's your week going, man?
Yeah, not bad. I flew into town, to Arizona, on bright and early Wednesday morning.
Yeah,
so,
I'm aware.
Yeah. Thank you for the pickup from the airport, by the way. Yeah, leaving the airport or leaving the house to get to the airport, about 3:30 in the morning is never fun. But when you do have a day job that you have to make sure that you attend, and
What? You have to go to
and
those?
well, if you want to get paid somehow, they want you to attend and sometimes even pretend to work. So,
Oh God.
I know.
What a life.
It's brutal. But no, I mean, hanging out, get to see some family, and some friends, good foods, good drinks, good video game
good
talk,
good vibes, right?
good vibes. Absolutely.
Yeah. So before I get into my recounting of my week so far, we do have a few super chats that I'd like to read out. Thank you all so much for your generosity and support. As is tradition here on Fridays at GVG, we start with Jaden Buck with a $5 super chat. Crazy question Fridays. Crazy question number 31. Holy hell. Like, we're 21 weeks away from him doing this for a year straight. The commitment to the bit is impressive. But he says, if you had to sacrifice any bone in your body, what bone would that be? Man, like, I don't know, like a pinky toe bone. Like, I'm not a doctor, but I'm getting rid of a bone I don't need.
Does the funny bone count?
I would.
I don't know.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, why not?
I'll get rid of that one. That one
I'm like,
sucks.
is that a real bone? That was my
Dude,
first thought going to
No,
Yeah.
it's not a real bone. Yeah, exactly.
I'm getting rid of. Do I have a wishbone? Like, I'll get rid of that. No, I don't know, man. Like a rib, like one of them or something. That's a hard. Or like
Got
one of
himself a
the
wife out of
many.
it.
Yeah. Oh god. We're getting
Get rid
biblical.
of the tailbone, also known as the coccyx, because that you don't really need that bone anymore. We've kind of outgrown that as human beings. So that's what I would get rid of. I don't know if that's cheating or not, but
No, that makes sense.
Flexing his.
I'm stealing
his
Daniel's
most powerful
I know.
muscle. Yeah,
That's
it. Yeah, get rid of my tailbone, I guess.
Yeah,
I
that's
never
like
thought about that.
getting rid of your appendix.
Yeah.
you don't
Really
need
hurts
it.
when
But
you land on it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
By the
you
way,
should
guys,
have.
I hate to I got to be a good dad for just 1 second because the kids want to play Mario Party, and I think it's in the office here. So I'm just
Okay.
going to grab it and put it
Right.
over
Totally
there for
fine.
them to enjoy.
Go
I'll be
for
right
it.
back.
All right. While Derek does that, we'll go ahead and keep the super chats rolling. Hoodio with a $10 super chat says, "Hey guys,
Nice.
I've missed y'all, and I'm glad to finally catch this live. I've just started Final Fantasy 13-2, and it's awesome. Ash, I know you have a soft spot for these games, and I'm glad I'm finally playing them. Unfortunately, Ash is not here. But I haven't played FF13-2. Have either of you?
I have not. I've played FF13, just not at 13.2, so I can't really
Sure.
give it a fair analysis. But yeah, I've heard from Ash that he definitely likes that game. He will defend 13 to the ends of the earth.
Nice. How about you, Derek? Have you played FF13-2? Welcome back, by the way.
I have. It is the only good Final Fantasy 13 game.
That is. I was about to say I don't love FF13, and that was pretty much my main reason for not going near 13-2.
No, 13.2 is actually good. Pretty fun time travel plot. Fixes a lot of the issues of the original 13. Has a fun little monster mechanic where your third party member is always a monster from the world. I enjoy it. I had a lot of fun with it. So yeah,
Nice.
that's the one to pick up if you can pick up any of them.
That works. I may have to check it out. Sonic and Mega Man 531. Thank you, by the way, Hoodio, for the super chat. We appreciate it. Sonic and Mega Man 531 with a $2 super chat says Ralph from Wreck-It Ralph versus Emmett from the Lego Movie. I don't know.
Ralph.
Yeah, I guess Ralph.
Ralph
I
will
mean,
wreck them.
Clearly.
Can Emmett build it before Ralph wrecks it though? Like just any kind of weapon.
Yeah.
I guess whoever's faster.
But can Emmett rebuild his skull after Ralph wrecks
Probably
it?
not. Probably
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. Ralph just
Fair
has to
enough.
exhale to.
Listen, I'm not going to
break
bring
down
back
structure.
the minion the minion conversation, but I feel like a fight
no.
between Ralph and Emmett would go similar to that. Just saying, an eye might come out of a socket. Anyway, Becca's Levels Up with a $4.99 super chat says Square dropping an update 4 years later for Chrono Trigger on PC and mobile means I can actually play this game. Yeah, I am hopeful that this means that we're getting Chrono Trigger on Switch. Just come on, man. Like, if you're updating the
please.
port, you have to be updating it for some reason other than Square loves their customers who bought this game 5 years ago. Like, there's no way.
It's weird that it's
Could be.
specifically like 21:9 support.
Right.
that'd be
Like
that'd be
extra
amazing.
widescreen.
If I remember correctly, I want to say the PlayStation 5 has 21:9 support for certain things. And so
you're right.
makes me wonder if they didn't add 21:9 support so they could do an eventual, at least PS5 port of Chrono Trigger. Because I don't care where you put it, Square, as long as it's on a console, I'll buy it. I'll probably also buy the Steam version because it's like $10. If I might even already have it. I don't know. But Square, whenever you do something with Chrono Trigger, you can just have some of my money. It's fine.
Exactly. Just take it.
Yeah, just take it. It's yours.
At least I have Chrono Cross.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Yep.
I mean, I feel like it's a really
step.
weird way to do it, to release Chrono Cross and then hopefully Chrono Trigger. I don't even need a remake. I just want a modern port of it. Anyway, 2 more super chats before we continue on. Jansen with $2.69. Nice. Says, help Top Dog. I'm stuck in super chat. Well, I don't know. Top Dog, help him, I guess.
The cry for help.
I feel like there's some kind of meta game going on here. Anyway, finally, Vidron Hotik with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Says, was finally able to catch live again. I've been addicted to FF6 Pixel Remaster.
Yeah.
It took me a minute. I was like, public relations? Anyway, and the soundtrack is amazing. My Dead Space hype is real from the news today, too. For those of you that don't know, Dead Space announced like an early 2023 launch window. So I'm happy for Dead Space fans. I'm not one of them.
I hope it's good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the first game and second game, but
Nice.
you know, I didn't get a chance to really look at the news for that today.
It literally was just a picture. It was just
Okay.
They tweeted an image.
I saw we have a little like a narrowed down release date, so that's good.
Yeah. Well, awesome news for fans of the series. I hope that it's cool. One of those ones that never grabbed me. Anyway, let me get to my retelling of this week so far.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's been one. So I have been, first off, for those of you that don't know, I've been working on a video about this center. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm just going to let you see it. And I am going to let you know that there is a Nintendo logo somewhere on this. I think it's in a corner or something. Either way, this is a piece of Nintendo hardware you've probably never used. You've definitely never used, but you've probably never even heard of. We'll be talking about that next week. Anyway, so besides that, obviously Nick came into town. My brother went to the ER. That man has like an absence of luck. Like he owes the universe some luck or something because they keep taking it from him. But he had some mild heart issues, and he's fine. Like he's at home, he's recovering, but there was kind of like a heart attack scare or something. Like he was not feeling very well and had to get taken to the ER. They checked him out. They're like, go home, maybe like sleep more and eat better. Which is always depressing when your doctor treats you like an old car. They're like, I don't know, man. Like, come in when it's acting up, I guess. Like, otherwise, we don't know. Maybe you'll crash on the road, right? I feel really terrible for him, but it is kind of like a funny situation. So hopefully they'll, but he seems fine now. He's on 2 legs again and walking around. But I picked up Nick, and things didn't really kick up until about last night. Let's talk about last night. Oh, so, we've been playing a shitload of Elden Ring lately, which is, as I surmised, a very frustrating game. But we'll get into that in a little bit. But we went out last night, as we do, to go get Korean barbecue, and we went to a new place, never been there before. Just thought it'd be fun to go. We're sitting at the table, and we realize we're in way over our heads from the minute the menu hits the table, because they're like, "Hey, it's $40-ish a pound per dish, and you order by the pound." And so they're like, we have a group deal. It's $150 and it feeds about 4 or 5 people. There were 4 of us. I had a friend with me. Nick's wife was with him. And so we were eating, and it was, we started ordering drinks. We ordered soju, which for those of you that are unaware, soju is like a Korean rice wine. It's very sweet. Like it doesn't have a whole lot of alcohol content. You don't taste it.
You don't.
And it usually retails for about like $2 or $3 a bottle. Like it's about the price of a beer.
Okay.
Not at this place.
Nope.
not at this
No.
place. So I think we ordered maybe about 8 bottles to share between 4 people. So each
3
person
people.
or 3
We
people.
did have a
that's
designated
true.
driver.
That's true. One we had a DD, of course. If you're gonna go out and drink, make sure someone doesn't. But yeah, we practiced safe. We were safe. Anyway, the bill comes and it is $300.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
we realized we were paying about $15 a bottle for these $2 drinks.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
So
Yeah, that
I
was
mean,
fun.
Why they don't list this is why they don't list prices on these.
Exactly.
drinks,
Yeah.
because
They did
Why?
not list the price.
Till I get you.
yeah, it wasn't on there, and we just assumed like, oh, it's like $2 or $3 at the store, so it's probably $4 or $5 here. We were way off.
Yeah, most Korean barbecue restaurants, they have it. It's about $7 or $8 a bottle. Of course they're making a markup, but no, it was probably $13 to $15 a bottle.
Yeah,
we
and to
had
be fair,
many
Jansen,
bottles.
we did Korean barbecue with Ash last year when we were out there, and they didn't charge nearly that much of a markup. But it was wild. Like it was a pretty rough time. Anyway, great segue into what you've been playing, because I didn't just get screwed at dinner. I have been getting screwed all week by Elden Ring. And I have some thoughts about it. But before I dive into my thoughts and impressions on that, Nick, I'm going to hop over you because you've been playing Elden Ring with me.
I have. Yeah.
Derek, what have you been playing, my friend?
Honestly, not much. The only thing I've really gotten a chance to play is I got to play 2 things, both of them demos, essentially prologue demos. I attempted to play a little bit of Triangle Strategy just because I was curious about it, but I was in the middle of the first battle when I had to stop, so I haven't made much progress. It's pretty, it seems like it'd be pretty good, but I am not made no progress whatsoever in it. It does remind me of Tactics, which is nice. So I want to find time to play more of it, but it just hasn't happened yet. And then I've played the first section of the Strangers of Paradise demo, and I mean, you might still not enjoy it because you're not enjoying Elden Ring there, Steve, but damn it, it's fun. It's stupid. The story makes no sense. I don't know if you've seen Twitter today with making the rounds of how the 3 men meet and team.
I did, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
My
That
stone's
is
glowing.
legit.
Yeah.
That is legit. It is legit how it all begins. They just like walking around and here we go. And all right, we're a party now. And then it literally has some text come up after that. And then they went on some adventures and now they're back to the king. I'm like, wait, did we miss
Wait,
something?
what?
It feels like I'm actually in a demo right now rather than the beginning of the game. But no, then it's set up for, hey, Chaos is causing issues for Cornelia. Can you go take care of him? Because nobody else is really having any effect. And that's when you get into the first level, the first thing, and you get to see more of the town. You get to see Princess Sarah, more of the Final Fantasy 1 stuff, which is great. It's cool to see that stuff. It's just your main party is all modern. It's weird. They don't explain anything.
Do you get to see the bullshit scene? Like, do you
Yes.
get to? Oh
That
man,
is your
okay, I'm
reward
playing it.
that is your reward for beating the first boss,
Okay, I'm playing the
Which
demo. I'm
is-
in.
which is Chaos.
Sold.
So you get you get your chaos, you get your bullshit scene, and the thing is, the gameplay is fun. Like it's from what I understand from people, it's basically Neo except in Final Fantasy's clothing, which is fine. But I'd never played Neo, so I don't know any of this. And the job system is legit fun. Each weapon you possess, you get to choose that job. So you have your warrior, you have a thief, you get a wand, or basically a battle mace at some point. Hey, that unlocks magic for you, so you can unleash all that stuff. You get a lance, and there you go. There's a lancer, and then as you go through the tier tree with that, you unlock more abilities for that, plus better versions of the jobs, and it really customizes how you play, and you can swap between 2 jobs at any one time and set things up. So I set myself up as the lancer / mage, and basically go in, send off a huge fire spell or water spell to clear out enemies, and then poke them to death.
Nice.
It's fun. It's just the story is incredibly dumb, but the opening but the opening cutscene is freaking amazing because it's a recreation of Garland or Chaos, whoever they wanted to be in that armor, stealing away Princess Sarah and wrecking all the soldiers around. It is brutal. Like if they didn't have that crystal stuff pop up after you kill people, it definitely has some it'd be an M-rated game because it is. Yeah. As far as I see Moon Rhoda here asking the difficulty, it's definitely tough. It took me a lot of tries to actually beat Chaos in that fight. It's not even fully Chaos. I think it's Chaos Advent that they're calling him now. But it's also very forgiving. You don't lose anything. You don't lose experience or anything like that. You can keep throwing yourself against that wall if you need to. It's just progress was lost. You got to get through it again. It's not as punishing as all that. Oh, it is M-rated. I missed that it's M-rated. I completely missed that it's M-rated.
Oh, wow.
Oh, man.
And it is, I basically just kept throwing myself at the Chaos boss, and it took me a while, but I did beat him. It's
nice.
I don't know. I suggest trying it out, Steve, because my thought that this game might be better than we think seems to be holding true, which is not holding true for what Daniel's playing from Square Enix right now. But
oh yeah,
perfect segue.
Yeah.
Are we going to talk about that right now?
Well, what were you going to say before that, Steve?
Oh no, I was going to say, if my expectations have been subverted nicely with Elden Ring, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. But so okay. I'm willing to give Stranger of Paradise a try. I mean, I tried the first demo, and I did remark at the time that the gameplay was decent. Like I actually enjoyed the gameplay, but the trappings around it were just so cringe that it was really hard for me to get into it. And I have a feeling that's not going to change. But like Ash has implied, it might go so far in that direction that it loops around and becomes funny. And that to me, I love the idea of these guys just being so wildly out of place and not having any self-awareness about it.
Yeah. I mean, I also like the fact that every piece of equipment you get changes your way your character looks. So.
Yeah, that's true. Eventually, they probably won't look. I mean, the face and I don't know.
Oh yeah, man. You still got the face and whatnot. And
he looks like my gardener a little bit, and that's like,
like I just know this guy.
Next time he comes over, I'll be like, "You want to kill Chaos?"
I will say there is one thing here that I'm like, okay, I can't believe I didn't notice this until now, but good on you, game. So your main party, all the characters you have in your party, all have names that are 4 or less spaces, like the original Final Fantasy.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, that's cool.
You got Jack,
that is a
touch.
Jack, Jed. I forget the other guy's name, but yeah, it's like, oh, okay, clever. It's weird when it's clever. But anyway, yeah, Daniel.
Tell
I
us
segued earlier, but why don't you tell us what you've been playing?
I've been playing a very anticipated release, we'll say, Chocobo GP. Remember when we were so excited about that game?
Yeah, we really were.
I don't know who here has played Chocobo GP, whether it's the light version or they bought the full version like I did, because there were some aspects about it that not all of us were 100% clear about when we were hearing about it, and even in reviews there were some mixed reviews, and now I know why. Because the game itself, like, it's fun. Like, there's aspects of it that are enjoyable, like when you're racing. Obviously it's not going to be as we can't expect something as polished as Mario Kart 8 or anything like that. I mean, it's Square Enix doing a Final Fantasy kart, like, I enjoy it for what it's hard to describe, because I enjoy it for what it is. And there's like a story mode. It's kind of silly and cheesy at times, but there's voice acting and there's so much charm in it. Like, they almost recreate a scene from Final Fantasy 9 with Vivi and Steiner just having an argument with each other. And the animations are the same, and the movements, and it's like faithfully recreating from Final Fantasy 9. That's the one that stuck out with me in particular, because I love 9. But then you get to things where it all falls apart right when you boot up the game, because it tells you about season passes, and you can buy Mithril, which is their premium currency, and that premium currency is on also accompanied by currency you can only get while playing the online GP mode, which is Gil, where you can buy other stuff like Squall. It's something you can only get with Gil, so you have to grind out those season no the GP mode in order to get that. But the thing is, with the season pass, the Square will gift you a certain amount of Mithril to get the season pass, like as you get the game, so you can kind of like get a feel of what that's like. The thing is, when you get that season pass that you can afford, you're then allowed this branch of rewards that you still have to grind out levels for. So you have to get to level 60, which is a very high cap, and it takes a while. I know there's some people on Twitter saying how long it's been taking them just to get to like level 10 or lower. But the funny thing is that there's an even more premium pass where you can get all of that right away. So it'll boost you right up to level 60. You'll get Cloud right away, because that's like the main draw for that season pass. And then, well, the thing is, I kind of bit this bullet here, and I wanted to see for science what this was like. So there was a deal that they're advertising it as a deal. You can spend $8 and you'll get 800 Mithril, and then another 800 Mithril. It's a one-time deal. I spent Nintendo Gold coins on it, so I outsmarted the system there. But,
well played, sir.
But I bought that, and then yeah, it gave you that, and it gave you enough gil to also get Squall as well. But it unlocks so much stuff, and it's ridiculous how weirdly predatory it is for being advertised as such a friendly kids game. And it's, oh my gosh, like they could have had something really special here if they just did it where everything is within the game. But Square lately has to just add these microtransactions and make it feel like such a mobile game without being a mobile game.
Yeah.
To the point where it's just infuriating, and it's just depressing to play, because it's, the characters are fun, and the things are fun, but there's just not much to it after that. Like there's 7 or so stages, and they all have like 4 variants, which don't really change too much. And like there's a good amount of characters. Like there's a lot of the original characters, and you can play as summons and all that, but when it comes down to it, there's too much that's all hidden behind a paywall, and it's just, you see a lot of people upset about it, and rightfully so.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I can't remember who it was in our staff channel on Discord today saying that it felt just kind of off. Was that you, Daniel, or was that Brandon? Saying that it felt like kind of the relationship with it was like the same as Nicktoons is to Smash. Like it's just like a slightly inferior version. Like
this is like it's probably not to that extent, probably as I was describing it, not like Nicktoons is a Smash, but it's definitely a lower quality where like when you're drifting, when you're moving, there's not that feel of like that tactile feeling while you're playing that makes it feel as good as Mario Kart does, as Smash does. And it's just kind of missing that. And if it had that feeling, I think it would hold a lot stronger. But like cars feel kind of light and drifty, and not there's not too much weight to them. When you're drifting, you slide everywhere. Honestly, maybe I'm just bad. Who knows? But yeah, there's like that element it's kind of missing from that keeps it from being a really great game. And that's just without even talking about all the microtransaction stuff.
Nice. I still want to try it, but I'm definitely going to just download the demo and give that a
shot. I recommend everyone at least try the light version, see if you enjoy it for what it is. I'm sure you can have as much fun with it without having delving into anything with the microtransactions or whatever free stuff they give you. But yeah, it's at least worth trying out the light version.
Yeah. I would say so. It's a shame when a game that we're all excited for turns out to be disappointing. I mean, I don't want to say bad or a dud, but it's clearly not what we were hoping for. Before we close this part out, real quick, because I know I have at least 2 Final Fantasy experts on the line. Chocobos, Wark or Kwe?
I believe it began as... did it begin? It began as one, and then got
I actually know the canonical answer to this. I'm testing you.
Kwe.
I think it is Kwe.
It's both.
Well,
Well, thank you for the trick
Give me a
question.
trick
From
question.
Final Fantasy Tactics, the feral chocobo calls with a boisterous wark, not the domestic breed's mild quay.
Oh,
Oh wow, really?
Mhm. Deep cuts.
Yeah.
Wow.
I remembered that it was both. I had to Google why it was both. So I didn't know it was tactics, but I Googled the exact quote to get it because I was like, I remember hearing it's both, and I was like, I can't remember where though. So we've talked a lot
Yeah.
about tactics lately. I want that game back.
If you want to
oh,
play,
I'd love to have it back. That's why I was kind of checking out Triangle Strategy, which has been getting good reviews. You know, it's funny. Square Enix released what 4 games this month. We got
Yeah.
2 kind of duds. We got 2 kind of good games.
Yeah.
Triangle
didn't
Strategy
expect
seems to be the most consistently good out of the group, though.
I will say that I checked out the intro. I picked up Triangle Strategy and I checked out the intro for it, and I was like, okay, this is better than the demo. Like it's not as like long-winded to get to actual entertaining gameplay moments. And so but again, it's that trap of I don't have time for this, and I know that there's 100 hours ahead of me with this game. So I need to just find time. I'm probably going to push it off for later in the year, but it's on my Switch. It's installed. One thing that I did play, I talked about it last week on GVGcast, and I got a copy of it, courtesy of NIS. I got to check out The Cruel King and the Great Hero. Which, if you remember, is like that really cutesy turn-based RPG. And it is absolutely charming. I played like the first 30 minutes of it, the tutorial section. Nick was there. But it opens on the little kid that you see in the trailer and the dragon. And the dragon, again, is like ends up being the big bad at the end of the game, or at least that's implied through the intro. And then, but the dragon sends you off on what becomes the quest to defeat it. And it's so worried about you through the intro that it's following you around to each battle. So, like, each battle that you take place in, you find the dragon hiding somewhere in the backdrop, like, watching you fight to make sure you don't die.
The art's incredible.
Yeah, art's incredible. So far, I just have, like, a pot on my head and a stick, and I'm fighting raccoons. But it is absolutely charming. And it's out now. It's on Switch. Came out, I want to say, the 1st. And I eventually just hit on NIS up, and I was like, oh, this game's really cute. When's it coming out? And they're like, oh, well, it's out now here. And so I was like, oh, thanks. NIS has a reputation. Nick reminded me of this, but if you've never been to E3, you've never been to their booth, if you book a meeting with NIS, they always feed you, which is really nice. Like, it's a very considerate thing for people to do at E3. Like, NIS used to have a booth on the floor, but they started just renting out a restaurant and, like, telling people, like, hey, come over, sit down, eat, and we'll play games while we eat, which is super thoughtful. But they always were known within the industry for also having mountains of physical games in their booth. And they would be like, take whatever you want. And so they would just be like, here's our releases for the year. Take as many as you want home with you. And I was always like, well, don't mind if I do.
Take one. Take one.
Yeah.
Take one of each.
Yeah.
Take multiple copies of each and give one to your friend.
It was really funny because they were definitely like really like upfront about it. Like if you met them at the end of the show, they're like, we don't want to take this stuff home. Please just take it.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
I never visited NIS. I was always in the dungeon, so I didn't know any of this.
If E3 ever happens again, Derek, I will drag you there. You will leave with 1,000 hours worth of RPGs under your arm.
Oh, great!
Yeah.
Just what I need. Just what I need.
But the big game Nick and I have both been playing has been, of course, Elden Ring, and I gotta say, y'all, like it's got its hooks in me now. And I actually think I might see it through to the end, but it is immensely frustrating. Exactly the way I imagined it would be. So much of today was spent fighting like the first major boss, I think. I don't know. Like one thing about I'm preaching to the choir here for those of you that have played Soulsborne games before, but it's like they don't tell you anything. You don't know where to go. Like I ran out of arrows and I spent about 10 hours trying to figure out how to craft arrows. It was like 8 feet away from where you start the game. I just ran in like the complete opposite direction. I was like, oh, there's a thing over there. I'm going to go do that. And ended up, fighting off enemies that were probably well above where I should have been at the time. But it is definitely, once you get into the rhythm of it, it is very hard to put down because you kind of have that one more run quality. And yes, Margit, I don't know how you say it, but the Fell Omen. Yes, Nick ended up dealing the death blow to Margit for me after I kind of just threw up my hands. I was like, Jesus Christ, I got to go do a podcast. I'm not doing this. But yeah, that is the first story boss of Elden Ring, and it was definitely a very tough fight. We ended up fighting ogres. Once you get into it, the sense of progression is really cool because you get that sense that, I'm not just getting you're not just getting more skilled, even though that's happening too. You're getting stronger. Like, you fight an ogre who would flatten you in one hit, and then suddenly you're able to stand toe to toe with it and wipe the floor with it. So it's really cool, but
very frustrating.
Very frustrating. Yeah, it's a game that you probably don't want to stream because you'll cuss at it. But it was fun. Like, it's very obtuse though. I think it's obtuse in the same way Monster Hunter can be obtuse. Like, it doesn't explain itself at all. Like, you have to just indoctrinate yourself into how this game works and how the world delivers information to you. And it does encourage you to just kind of like walk around and look for things. But as someone who has been trained for decades now to like expect a little bit of hand holding, like, hey, if you go to the northeast, you might figure out how to craft arrows. Like, I wanted something like that, but they're like, nah, man, fuck it. Like, no one's going to tell you anything. You're on your own. And the other thing that I find interesting is, like, everyone in every Soulsborne game, they're a dick. Like, every single person you meet is a complete dick. They're like, oh, tarnished one, I guess you can help me. I'm like, well, you're just standing out in the middle of a field doing nothing. Don't act like you're special. This whole world sucks. Like, I don't understand it. Also, there was like, I had my first experience with someone invading my game. Why do people do that? It's just mean. Like, it's not mean.
It's very much like Deathloop.
I had someone that would just wait for me to show up so they could kill me, and I would have to run like across the map to get my runes. By the way, dropping runes, that's kind of a dick move too. But like,
hey, good news, you don't have to worry about that aspect in Stranger of Paradise. So
Stranger of Paradise, I was gonna say, may end up being a cakewalk compared to Elden Ring. Like,
probably is.
Yeah. I would recommend it if you're if you have even a passing interest in Soulsborne games. Like, if you've wanted to try, this is probably the most accessible, easiest one to get into. I will say it's not nearly as punishing as Demon Souls. Like, whenever I ran into something where I thought there wasn't a solution, there was always some kind of answer that I could figure out. Like, there was hallways filled with fire, and I figured out if I fired an arrow down that hallway, I could stop the fire. And I was like, oh, neat. Oh, I killed Daniel. He's like,
don't worry, that'll happen. Don't worry.
Someday you'll kill me.
You took his soul.
All right. Anyway, I normally on this show we talk about gaming news. I ain't got time for that. This was a boring week for games. Mario Kart DLC is coming soon. We got a release date for Dead Space.
Yeah, we got a delay on Advance Wars, which
that's true.
For shame.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks that it got delayed, but the reasoning does make sense.
Yeah,
it does.
Honestly, it might help it in the long run because
I do think so.
I know if I had to choose between it and Chrono Cross, I'm choosing Chrono Cross.
True.
For sure.
But also releasing a game about war during a war, probably
with an enemy that is basically Russia.
Yep.
More or less.
Yeah.
That star icon. Oof.
You know, the one thing is I feel so bad for fans of Advance Wars in the UK because the last Advance Wars collection never came out because of this, I think, or got delayed because of this.
I believe the original Advance Wars came out 2 days before 9/11.
Yeah, a day or two before.
They're kind of cursed.
No.
Yeah. Man. Every time Nintendo suggests doing an Advance Wars game, someone has to be thinking about it. They're like, oh God, what's happening? Like,
did we just start another war?
Do I need to invest in gold? But earlier too, Jansen asked in our chat, how much does a bottle of soju cost in Elden Ring? Probably about 5,000 runes right next to a boss.
There you go.
Right.
And actually,
Jeez.
there is one other thing that's probably worth talking about. It's on our thumbnail. We got Daniel.
Oh, that's right.
How's it feel to revisit F-Zero X?
F-Zero X is back. We're the guy from Captain Falcon from Smash Brothers finally got his own game.
The guy from Captain Falcon.
The guy from Captain Falcon.
Oh man,
You know, F-Zero. That guy
F-Zero.
from Captain Falcon.
That guy from. No, my God, I'm so happy to play F-Zero X again. I've been playing that in lieu of having a better racing game to play in the meantime. But yeah, like this game, I remember playing it way back then, and I think I only ever really played novice because the other difficulties were really hard. Like playing standard, like I cleared all of the Jack, Queen, King, and Joker cups novice and standard, and I did the first cup, the easiest cup on expert. It's hard. Like this thing's got teeth to it, and the controls. I forgot how like slippery it can be. Like the speed, you feel the speed, and it's really hard because when there's 30 different racers in the same race, they're more of an obstacle, like a moving obstacle while you're playing the game.
How
Like,
much of that is due to the fact that you're playing with the N64 controller, though? Do you think if you were using the Switch Pro controller that you'd fare a bit better? Or I've never played F-Zero on the N64, so I have many questions.
I don't. You know what? I've always played with the N64 controller. I think if I try to use a different one, it might feel a little too foreign to me because this is something I've always lived and died by. So whether or not
Muscle memory is
absolutely.
there.
it definitely
That's fair.
would be playable it should be more playable with a Pro controller than other N64 titles because you're not using the full breadth of controls
Right.
there
The
available.
camera button.
Yeah, all the C buttons are just like optional. Honestly, they don't have to be pressed during that. So, and that's one of the major mapping issues is the C buttons on the Pro controller. So you could definitely play that with a Pro controller rather than N64. But yeah, totally something that if you have an interest in this series and you have the availability of NSO, I would definitely give it a shot and see what you think because even down to like its most rockin' MIDI soundtrack ever. There's a lot to love about this game, and it's so aggressive. Like they promote aggression. Like whoever is in first place, or if you're in first place, whoever's in second place, they'll be targeted as your rival, someone to take out while you're racing, and you have options to attack as well. It's it's so metal.
Everything I've seen, F-Zero just seems like always like one of the most brutal racers out there. It looks so hard.
There's a literal mode called Death Race, and you have to eliminate all the other 29 racers in that to win. And it's just like a time trial essentially. It's ridiculous. I posted a clip earlier today where while I was racing, the craziest thing is that when you're boosting, that uses your energy, right? And if you hit a wall while you're out of energy, you'll start you'll lose control and you'll start to explode. Your machine's starting to fall apart. But if you cross the finish line while you're still disintegrating, before you have a giant explosion, it'll still count as you finishing in first place or whatever race or place you're in. And even though you're just like this metal chunk as the victory music is playing, it's so ridiculous. And somebody can like run over you and explode that chunk to little bitty pieces afterwards. It's just so ridiculous.
So you posthumously won the race.
They won. They're dead. Oh well.
They're dead. Oh my God. I
Nice.
want this series to come back so bad.
Nice. Next up, we're going to talk about our Patron topics, but before that, we do have one more sponsor to cover for this episode. Normally someone would tell me to roll it, so I guess roll it, me.
Welcome to my channel. My name is Straitlaced, and I make content, and sometimes I've got Monster Hunter.
As they say in England.
Ow! I've got Pokemon. I'm gonna do something really stupid. I've got game design analysis. Fast and unthought out decisions can have some nasty consequences down the line. And I've also got Dungeons and Dragons. I like how half the party is cultured and they're like, it's just food, and the other half is, what is this magic? So feel free to stop by, say hi, learn a little, and laugh a little.
And we're back. Thank you so much, Straitlaced, for sponsoring this episode. Huge apologies, by the way. For those of you that don't know, last night I did a Fight a Founder with Straitlaced for Monster Hunter Rise, and my PC just decided that it hates Capcom with a passion. Like, I could not get Monster Hunter to run for more than 10, 20 minutes at a time, like one quest, and well, I shouldn't say my PC would crash. The game would crash. And then into our second hour, it just wouldn't start anymore. Like the game would not start. So I uninstalled and reinstalled it. But last night, as I told you all earlier, had a bit much to drink. So I didn't come back and try the game. I don't know if it works yet. I'm hoping it does. But
oh boy.
yeah, Capcom, quality product. Anyway, but we've all picked, wow, I said that so loud I heard it on Nick's mic. We've all picked topics for this week's discussion. I had no idea I project that hard. Sorry, everyone. So let's go ahead and start with you, Derek. What is your patron selected topic for this week?
All right. My topic for this week is, let me go ahead and find it here. Well, there we go. From Richard Herrera saying, we all are experts on a game or a series that we know from history, story, and more. However, what is a series you wish you were an expert in and could explain all the intricacies from history, story, and more? Which, you know, after telling you guys about Shin Megami Tensei, kind of called to me as far as a topic. I'm still not an expert. I can give you basic breakdowns on those games, but definitely not all of it. No, I for something I wish I was an expert in and don't consider myself an expert in, honestly, it'd be a fighting game series. Whether it's Blaze Blue or Guilty Gear or King of Fighters, whatever. I dig fighting games with a ridiculous amount of plot, a ridiculous amount of characters, and each of them have their own intertwining things, and just knowing how each one falls into place. I'm a sucker for fighting game stories, and seeing how, you know, especially with, I think Blaze Blue was the kind of a turning point for me, where it's like, oh wow, so all the arcade modes are basically canon because of time BS. So it's there we go, that, and then they find a new way to use that in the sequel because they get rid of the time stuff. I don't know. It's been a while. I've not played Blaze Blue beyond the second game, so I don't know. But that kind of stuff would be kind of cool to actually know all the characters' backstories, know the storylines. I've heard that Guilty Gear is just as insane, if not more so, because I know the main villain of the series for, I think, like 10 games or so was just referred to as that man. They refused to give his whole thing. You know, it's dumb, it's fun, that's the kind of stuff that appeals to me. It's like, where's the dumbness behind this? How does this all fit together? And obviously, if Shin Megami Tensei isn't proof enough, I like diving into this and seeing what I'm in for. So yeah, that's probably what I choose. Is one of the fighting games, either Blaze Blue, Guilty Gear, something like that.
That's awesome. Yeah,
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Daniel?
I was thinking about this. I think of all the things that I've dabbled with, I would really like to learn more about and know more intimately the intricacies of like Dragon Quest, because I've played Dragon Quest 8. I love Dragon Quest 8. I love Dragon Quest 11. I dabbled in a couple others, but I haven't really gotten into those series as much as I could. But just like seeing how the Legend of Erdrick kind of goes throughout the series itself, playing that one area in Dragon Quest 11S where you're basically, you know, you're pixelated and you're exploring the different, you're touching base on all the different worlds. Got me really interested in all these references and callbacks. I really would like to just dive into that a lot more and get more intimate with the series. And thankfully, there's still series of games like Dragon Quest 3 coming out with its HD 2D remake, which I'm really excited for. And hopefully one day, maybe games like Dragon Quest 10 or what was the one that wasn't online? Was it 9?
9.
Yeah. That because Brandon and I were trying to find a way to play that together via alternate methods. And if they could re-release something like that, because I don't think that one's been re-released like all the other ones have been so far. So that'd be really interesting to get into. But yeah, Dragon Quest is a series that I really would like to involve myself more and be a bit more of an expert, because those worlds are so damn charming, man. Very memorable.
That's a good one.
Nice.
I agree.
How about you, Nick?
Yeah, Dragon Quest is a really good one. I wish I would have thought of it, because I remember playing, you know, in the US releases were Dragon Warrior, you know, 1 through 4, I think, and I played all of those on NES and SNES. But I think it might be the Resident Evil series.
Ooh.
I feel like
Oh, yeah.
I feel like there's so many characters in there, and I think I've played all but maybe one or two of the games. I didn't play any on the 3DS, but I feel like because the characters are so, each of the characters have a lot of depth to them, and while they talk about how they kind of go through Raccoon City and stars and everything, I feel like a lot of it is kind of left for you to kind of figure out yourself, either in a previous game or something like that. So yeah, I'd probably say Resident Evil.
Nice. For me, my answer is Final Fantasy. Because I am very much a late 90s bandwagoner when it comes to that franchise. Like,
Yeah.
I remember when I could not, like, I played a little bit of Final Fantasy 6 on the SNES, but when Final Fantasy 7 came out, like, so many other people that were alive at the time, like, I jumped on. And I played 8, I skipped out on 9, I played 10, I skipped out on 11 and 12. I tried 13 and I threw that into the sun as hard as I could. And I've tried 14 and I've actually really enjoyed what I've played of 14. I also really liked 15, but I recognize there's a whole like 6 games I haven't even touched. You know, that I really want to get into and give them the attention they deserve, which is why I keep hoping like we'll get Pixel Remaster on the Switch, because I would absolutely play them that way. But yeah, for me it's absolutely Final Fantasy. I feel like that's a big hole in my gaming knowledge.
You need to play 9. That was
I feel like he'd appreciate 9 a little bit more
Maybe
if he did it after the 1 through 6.
Yeah,
Just
I was
so
gonna say
callbacks.
also as someone who is like, I will be the first to admit that character design is super important to me, and I can't with Final Fantasy 9. Like 8 was pushing it. 9 I was like, really? This kid looks like
you get into it further and you feel for these characters. They are some fantastic designs.
What is his name? It's like with a Z, isn't it? The FF9
Zidane.
protect? Zidane. Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at him again. Time was not kind to this design. Like I really like, because as someone who now creates things with you guys, like I know that it's a very collaborative process, and I want to know who was like, give him a tail, and they're like, okay, I gave him a tail, what else do you think we should do? They're like, Jennifer Aniston's haircut. They're like, do that. And then they're like, you know what, he really needs like a tiny vest. We need him to wear like the shortest vest you can make. Like I want to know who, like, you know, that someone finished designing him and they're like, fucking nailed it.
It's
like
perfect.
like someone chef kissed this design. They're like, I'm gonna sell toys of this. Like,
oh my god,
I can't imagine, like, they were like, okay guys, like, you were a little, like, Cloud worked out, he was a bit iffy. They're like, Squall people seem to like, and they're like, what are you following it up with? And they're like, little lion boy with gigantic gloves, like really, really big ones. And they're like, perfect. Like, I imagine that there just had to be like a mound of cocaine on a table at Square, and they're like, we can do no wrong. Like, Uematsu was just eating it by the fistful.
I'm gonna put this image in Crew so you can see it for yourself. That's his design in the city of NT, where they're trying to make it more in line with the other characters. Does that do more for you?
Oh, I mean, like, it's definitely a better design, except for like, I mean, it looks like a gender swap, to be honest. Like, to me, I look at it and I'm like, this looks like a girl. Like, I don't know.
Have you? I actually no. You've not played Final Fantasy IV. You've not seen Cecil.
No, I haven't. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely an interesting design. I could probably get around it if I got into the story. Like, I can overcome this, but it is really hard going from 2 pro tags that go really hard in terms of their design to a 12-year-old boy that's going to save the world.
But he's a happy boy, and that makes him. No, that made him really refreshing compared to Cloud and Squall.
I like angry pro tags, which is probably why I'll play Stranger in Paradise.
Yeah, bullshit. You'll definitely like Jack. He is always angry.
Nice. All right, so moving on. Yeah, I need to play Final Fantasy. I need to get over some of the character designs, clearly. Daniel, what was your EP topic for this week?
Oh yeah, mine. Let me pull that up real quick. So my topic was from Becca's Live, asking, "Did you ever have a time where you were too injured to play games? And if so, what did you do to pass the time?" This happened last year, actually. I don't know if you
Oh,
guys
wow.
remember that. I pulled a muscle pretty bad over here to the point where I couldn't move it. It was in pain no matter where I had it. I couldn't like sleep really well because the pressure on it was just not working out for me. I was at the doctor and they said, yeah, it's probably just something that a muscular tissue was pulled in a bad place. So I was on a sling for a good while. I think that was during the summer or so, and I couldn't really do anything. I couldn't be at my desk. I couldn't design anything. This was thankfully before I had my actual day job, that I work at with Brandon. But with you guys, like I was just kind of out of commission for a while. I probably didn't say too much because I wasn't doing too much at that time. But other than watching shows and just hanging out on my couch, I was able to at least play some games because I have two separate Joy Cons. I couldn't hold it like this or anything, but I would hold one in this hand and I would hold the other in this hand, and I would just play a couple different kind of games like Animal Crossing, or I also play a bit more through Xenoblade Chronicles, the definitive edition. Just something
Nice.
that didn't require a lot of like intensive inputs and I like something like Smash or anything like that. Just nice and easy games during that time. But I was really thankful for the Joy-Con design at that moment because it just felt really comfortable at that point. I was able to move my hand without any pressure being pulled on my arm. But yeah, that was a time, and thankfully I got better around right. Oh yeah, it was the weekend that Steve asked about that design to be done by Suda51. That was
Oh,
the first
wow.
job. That was the first job I did after like feeling well enough to be at my desk and work at it. Because I was super jazzed to do something for No More Heroes. That was a big highlight, a big motivator to just get up and do things again. It was kind of sore afterwards, but it was fine. I was getting
Nice.
better after that point. But yeah, that's how I occupied myself for an injury.
Nice.
Nice.
Anyone else ever been injured during a point
I
where it kind of injured your gaming?
I can say I'm fortunate enough that that's never happened to me, where I've never been able to not game while injured. I've not really gotten injured that much, and if I have, it's usually been legs, not arms. So thank God for
Cool.
that.
Oh, God.
But I feel like if that did happen to me, where I got injured to that point where I couldn't play games, it'd be time to just binge movies. It's just like, well, there's a bunch of movies I haven't seen or I want to see. Let's start watching these shows and binging these shows. And I can finally catch up on all
Nice.
this stuff. That's really what I'd end up doing.
Yeah, it's a lot of that as well.
Mhm.
What about you, Nick? Any game limiting
No.
injuries?
Well, I mean, I would probably say no unless playing games too much until your hands cramp is an injury. I've actually done that before, where you sit there and you have a marathon session for 12 hours, 14 hours, and then like your hands kind of cramp up like a lobster, and you can't really do anything. And so the next couple of days you just kind of have to take a break. For it to not work. But yeah, most of my injuries, I sprained my ankle really bad. Had knee problems, but none of it's been, really bad where I couldn't really play any games. And if I would have, it'd be the same. I'd catch up on some shows on some Netflix, and I built a home theater in my in my basement, so lots of
Nice.
movies, stuff like that. I mean, I guess that answer would be pretty typical. I mean.
Mhm.
And what about you, Steve?
I broke my wrist when I was 13, and I was in a cast, and my doctor, or no, not 13. I was probably 15, 14. I don't remember. But my doctor specifically told me, don't play video games. And I said, no way.
Listen to your doctor.
Video game.
That does not surprise me.
I had a brand new Nintendo 64, and I was not taking shit from any doctor about it. So I cut a hole in my cast to make my index finger more accessible, because like my thumb was like, it was covered like up to just the tip, and I couldn't move it. But I was like, you know what? My index finger is supposed to be able to move, so I'm going to cut like the bottom out so I can move my index finger more freely. So I would set my N64 controller on the floor and work the buttons with my index finger while I used my unbroken hand to move the analog stick. It was terrible. And it hurt, but I did it. So the answer is, what would I do? There's no injury that would stop me unless like you actually removed my hands.
Of all the controllers as well, the N64, just holding it with that configuration. Oh my god, proud of you, Steve.
It was dedication. I would lay on the floor on my stomach so that the controller would be even, and my mom would be like, please stop. I was like, you can't stop me. You've raised a monster.
No force on this planet can stop me.
Can you remember what games you were playing at the time?
Oh, I played exclusively Mario 64 and Pilot Wings because I had Mortal Kombat Trilogy and KI Gold at that point, but I was like, I'm not gonna lose to someone. That's terrible. I'm gonna play alone.
Oh, God.
Jeez.
Yeah, don't break a teenager's hand. They'll just find a way to do whatever they were going to do with it anyway. I shouldn't have said it that way. Nope. Anyway. All right.
Well,
before we move on to my EP topic, I am going to read out some of these super chats that we have so we can catch up real quick. Nautical Noe with $5, thank you so much, says, hey all, keep up the great vibes. Just wanted to let Steve know that I'm hot off the heels of No More Heroes 1 and 2, and I'm ready for 3.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome, man. It's a great series. We all know I have very strong feelings. Daniel has pretty strong feelings about it. I mean, he did literally official art for it. So, I mean, I can't even claim that. But I will tell you this, like my port sense is tingling when it comes to No More Heroes 3. I feel like we are due for like a PlayStation or PC port, which will probably run way better than the Switch version. So if you're willing to wait, maybe give it 6 months. I don't know though. That's Marvelous's kind of pattern. They let it come out on Nintendo, they wait a year, they port it out. So but if you don't mind some performance issues in the open world, then it's a great game to play now. Thank you so much for the super chat, by the way. Stacy UK 1982 with a £5 super chat says, what game are you still learning about even though you've played it several times? Mine would be Rune Factory 4. I'm going to take the layup and just say Breath of the Wild, because like 5 years later, people are like, did you know this dog yawns on every 30th animation cycle? Like there's weird stuff people are still figuring out. Or did you know you can jump off of Lionel's head and shield surf your way all the way to Hyrule Cat? Like there's weird stuff people do with that game. So that would be mine. Yeah. It's hard because our jobs here is to kind of be students of gaming in general. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when we learn something new, we usually make a video about it.
I mean, I learned some things watching Golden Bolt's Ratchet retrospectives. So, you know, big Ratchet fan, and he got some interviews with devs in there to see some of the behind the scenes aspects. That's a fun series. So once again, I'll recommend that. Otherwise, yeah, as Steve says, I kind of most things I know, or at least tangentially know. So I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I think I'm more like mechanically learning some things about Majora's Mask, which I recently started playing on stream. You could do a glitch where the infinite sword glitch where your sword is always active, and then you can use that with your bombs to like do backflip and hover and backflip and get a little higher each time, to the point where you can go into Romani Ranch before you even go anywhere else in the game and get a Epona that way. Things like that. I did that on stream, and it was really gratifying to like see other people just react to the things that I show them. But yeah, like it's so interesting to discover anything, whether it's within the game or mechanically, like a glitch like that, sequence breaking. Those are always fun to find still these days.
So Summoning Salt is great for breakdowns of like speedrunning tech and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Love that man and love his videos. What about you, Nick? What series are you learning about?
I mean, it's hard to call it a series since, you know, the second one just came out last month, but I recently replayed Horizon, Zero Dawn, and like, you know, this is my third time playing it through, and every single time you play it, like, oh, I missed that part of the story. Oh, I didn't know that about Aaron, or stuff like that. Sometimes they force you to read into the lore in order to pass through, one of the little, puzzle dungeons or whatever. And so I just, each time I play it, I've noticed that I've been going into the lore pages more and more to kind of read about it, especially since the game I've been playing since, before This Week in Elder Ring was Forbidden West, so still is. So yeah, I mean, I'd say that one.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you so much for that super chat. Moving on, Tommy Dianoth's Archives, which I still love that name. It's so classy. I imagine just like bookshelves lined with games and fancy drinks. Anyway, with a Canadian $5 super chat, thank you so much, says, I couldn't get any enjoyment out of Chocobo GP Lite because I don't have a Switch online subscription. Real cheat for me. Yeah, it's kind of part and parcel with the online infrastructure these days. Thank you so much for your super chat, though. And good word of warning. I mean, it's free, so, try at your own risk. But either way, Claxon with $4.99 says, I have faith in the cruel king, given how gut-wrenching the Liar Princess's ending was. Don't spoil if you know. Yeah, please don't. I didn't know it's part of a series even. I just saw cute art style, turn-based RPG, and I clicked. So, let's see. Finally, rounding this out, we got two left. Sonic and Mega Man 531 with $2 says Minot versus Eliza. Minot is Street Fighter. Eliza is Schoolgirls. I'll say Minot because at least I know her. That's all I got on that one.
I need to look up. I'm not familiar with Minot. Okay, there's Minot.
Skullgirls. I'll be saying her.
And what was the Skullgirls character's name?
Eliza.
I know there's Eliza in Street Fighter as well, so that's why I was a little confused. Oh, basically the two Egyptian themed characters.
Yeah.
Minot.
Yeah, I think I have to go. Yeah, Eliza does have a snake. I'll go with Eliza. Be different.
All right. Fair enough. All right. Thank you so much for that. Finally, moving on. The last one we have Thaddeus Feeney with a $5 super chat says, okay, guys, just encountered this question. Is Clifford the big red dog a kaiju?
Yes, absolutely. Is
100%.
I will argue only if you consider the original King Kong a kaiju. Because original King Kong was small enough that you could climb a building, and that's about how big Clifford the Big Red Dog is. I don't think that's big enough to be a kaiju.
Kaiju is just a bigger version of what you normally would have the size of an animal. Clifford is a really large, exponentially larger dog than a normal dog, as King Kong is an exponentially larger monkey than monkey. So that's absolutely a kaiju. I will stand on it.
I guess my thought was just kaijus have to be the size of skyscrapers, not be able to interact with skyscrapers.
I mean, to be fair, kaiju's literal meaning is strange creature. Clifford's strange as hell.
That's a good point. And by that definition, yes.
The deeper question. Oh, go ahead.
I'm going to go ahead and also posit that Clifford is not just a kaiju, but he's also a Saiyan. He's a Saiyan dog that has ascended to God form and is just stuck there.
White bread.
That's right. What were you going to say, Daniel?
The real question is getting into minutia is Sonic a kaiju? Because he's an exponentially larger hedgehog, but he's also a very strange and fast hedgehog. Like, is he big enough? Big enough from a hedgehog. Hedgehogs are tiny little creatures, but Sonic's pretty large.
Sonic passes the strange creature test. He's a hedgehog that speaks English. He's blue. He's 50 times larger than a normal hedgehog.
Yeah, that's why I think a size
and he has fought
necessity
a kaiju.
is kind of required for a kaiju, because if you're trying to claim Sonic is a kaiju just because of relative size.
Oh, Helen with a good point. He is not, because he is normal for his world.
Ooh, there you go.
When
have you seen a normal hedgehog in Sonic?
It's true. Oh man, we got so many questions.
We
could be here all night. Thank you so much for the super chat. Clifford is a kaiju, ruling issue.
Absolutely.
Howdy folks gaming with $1.99 says, late as always, but hey guys, love what you do. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey,
we love you back. And howdy. But either way, so my final topic before we close out the show, comes from Feeling Dreepy. And they say, what is your least favorite thing about your favorite game? And I thought that was interesting because no game is perfect. And
No.
I will go ahead. My favorite game is really hard to pin down literally day to day. So I'm going to go with Breath of the Wild because that's the one I call out most often lately. And I am just going to say it. Weapon durability. I do not specifically the Master Sword having weapon durability.
Yeah.
The Master Sword is supposed to be insanely powerful, and it's the sword that banishes evil, and I don't like that it runs out of juice. They're like, "Hey man, I've killed too many Ganons. I need to take a break." I'm like, that is not how Hylia's power works. Damn it! You should be ready to go all the time and never need to recharge. Like I thought, I would have preferred that they positioned the Master Sword much later in the game, like made it to where you had to have say 20 hearts instead of 13, and then let me pull it so that it's positioned where I'm ready to fight Ganon. This might be the last thing I do before Ganon. And then just make it so that it never stops working. Or maybe make me go through those side quests so that, you know, when I did those DLC add-on quests, the master quest for the sword, that would keep it, you know, remove its durability problem. But that's my least favorite mechanic. How about you guys?
It's hard because if you ask me, like you said, if you ask me what my favorite game is, it would change from day to day. But if I had to choose one, I'd probably say The Last of Us. I think the story was just amazing. I don't know if a video game has ever made me cry, but you know, I definitely had to blow my nose. And I'd say what I didn't like, what I liked the worst about it was
it didn't make me cry, but it made me boogery.
Yeah. I'd probably say the tank controls. Like the controls kind of started. They felt like early Resident Evil controls, where you're having to swivel and your gun, the pointing is just very on only two axis, and so as you start to play it, you kind of understand it, and you almost have to work around the controls rather than just playing a nice, smooth, fully 3D game, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How about you, Derek?
Well, my favorite game is Super Mario Brothers 3. And that is a perfect game, but
it really is. I was about to say there's no such thing as a perfect game until then.
Yeah, honestly, the only thing I can think of in terms of I wish certain levels were a bit longer, because if you know what you're doing, Super Mario Brothers 3 can be a level in Super Mario Brothers 3 can be defeated in no time flat, like 30 seconds.
For sure.
So, that's always an issue. It makes it a little less, I want more. I want more. Unfortunately, there is that e-reader levels that are part of the Wii U version on Super Mario Advance. Another one is, I wish the Hammer Brothers suit would come up more often. That said, it did always feel like a treat when it did pop up, but I was always too scared to use it because, you get hit once and there it's gone. It's like, let me use that really cool power up more than once. I don't know. I just really like Mario 3.
Such a good game.
Really. How about you, Daniel?
Just a couple quick ones because I want to talk about these games just a bit. I love to death Paper Mario with the Thousand-Year Door. Everyone knows we cannot stand the General White quest of going back to every single location to just be told, go back here and there, everywhere. Especially just killing the pace of that game towards the very end of an otherwise like very well balanced, very well paced game. And speaking of pacing, also with the original version of GameCube's Wind Waker, doing the Triforce quest, getting all the shards, all the Triforces, like that's just another example of something that thankfully they did solve and to an extent in the HD version where it was a lot more streamlined. But man, like pacing issues like that in games that otherwise have a great tempo, it gets on my nerves.
Yeah, I could understand.
I can see that.
Yeah.
That we made it, guys. It's over.
We did it.
I'm just we've got one last super chat from Skull Kid Tiger with $5. Says, Daniel, Ben Drowned told me to recite this message to you on Majora's Mask exploits. You shouldn't have done that.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that's
God.
not good.
So
Also,
That face haunts me to
Also-
this day.
if I'm not incorrect, I believe that as we were doing this episode, it rolled over to midnight for the UK, which means it is Spicy Pandaughter's birthday now.
happy
Oh, happy
birthday.
birthday.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, happy
Happy
birthday.
Spicy.
Happy
I
birthday.
believe
to
I saw that
Spicy.
earlier in the patron chat. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Spicy
absolutely.
Pandaughter.
Happy birthday.
Spicy Pandaughter is almost always in our streams for Good Vibes Arcade, and we very much appreciate you for that. Thank you so
Mhm.
much.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for your support.
Absolutely.
I hope you have a great day today. Hopefully
Oh,
hopefully
I
you're
am
going
correct.
to bed
Okay, cool.
soon.
Yeah. Have a good one.
Happy 27th birthday to Chrono Trigger as well. You have an awesome birthday.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. That is a good
good day
birthday.
to be born.
Yeah, that is
Sad
it's
you didn't get
painful
it
for
in
me to
Europe
say that out
until
loud.
much, much later.
Yeah, true. But with that, we've reached the end of today's show. I've never done an outro for the GVG cast, so hi, thanks, bye. I'm just kidding. Anyway, it's not that different from the last show. Anyway, we have to thank all you guys. We couldn't do this show without your support. It means the world to us. Putting on this show once a week is still a thing that takes effort and takes time. And getting everybody together in the same room is nice, even if we're just chatting about video games, touching on the news. We love you guys so much. Thank you all for being here, for watching with us. If you're listening on podcast services, we love you too. Just, in the past, like we love you a couple days ago, depending on when you listened. But if you're here live, it means the world to us. Of course, we have to give a special thank you to all of our patrons at the producer tier and above. You guys make this show happen. Y'all know that we couldn't quite pull this off without all the support you show us over on Patreon. We'll talk more about what that means in just a little bit. But I do have to give an extra special thank you, as is customary here every Friday on the GVG cast, to our executive producers and above. And those fine folks include none other than Brandon Bovia, Cutie Caitlin, Fangs, Dan and Twistle, Z Patty, Hyrule Hermit, Sky Blue Flames, Eastman 23, Adam O'Sullivan, Richard Herrera, Logan Daniel, The D-Pad, Vesmio, Waffle King, Beert J 373. I'm sorry, I'm horrible with that one. Critter XD, Kitty Kong Facts, Angel Martinez, Diogo RP, Joshua Hunter, Benny Yao, Sapphire, Azran 127, Black King, Pagrema, Geller, Joseph Rutkin, Titus Malvolio, Geeky Griffin, Lucky Wonderfish, Kyle, Top Dog 23100, Young Ben Kenobi, Doug Shomix, Andrew Medeiros, Oram, Becca, Rocks the Cat, Killamox, Eddie B, Kai Ed, Kit Fisto, Kenneth Lee Stingle, Jessica Toad, Deaneth, Sci-Fi Lullabies, Michael McCaw, Niminator, Matthew Wong, Goron Amber, Straight Lace, Justin Matthews, Hoobie, Too Much Spaghetti, Mega Conrad, Ascaron809, Rioner, Captain Finlandia, Nathan Steele, Spicy Pandaughter, happy birthday again, The Game Orb, Dano the Artist, Super Gamer Dude 101, Grantles, Ravelox, Synchro Lord, my mom, hi mom, Kane Woolley, Skull Kid Tiger, AJB Cool, Dark Steel 01, Jason Uloa, Jaden Buck, Phantom Project, Cystic Warrior 29, DJ Jersic, Super Tank Awesome Unicorn Guy, Dinner Sonic, Darik, Jeff Ed, Blaze Star 25, Stag Nasty, Mumbling Yeti, Cameron Sharp, Screamo Shaman, Mason Riley, Keel, Willow Pingree, Santi the Person, Brendan Hesse, Hustlebun, Noah Fitterer, Calvin Atkinson, Ryan's Fault, Brainchild, Pat Pending, Jim Wakelin, Lauren Bond, Sridhar Ayala, and finally, last but not least, Gavin Twaddle. Ooh, that is a list.
It's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, it makes me happy to be able to read that again. It's a privilege to be able to read that list out. Thank you guys so much for your support. If you want to know how you can get a readout on that list, you can join us over at patreon.com/gvgaming, where for as little as $1 a month, you can join the best damn Discord community anywhere on the internet. $5 gets you into the live audience. And 10 and above gets you into the credits of this and our feature videos that we're doing. If y'all haven't spotted that, check out some of our more recent features. You'll see your executive producer credit at the end of those. Anyway, that is it for us for this week. Thank you guys so much for watching. We will be back next week at the same bat time, same bat channel, right here, giving you gaming news. We might even get Ash on a PC by then. Who knows? Who knows? We can hope. Anyway, y'all, thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you next week. Until next time, good night and good vibes. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Till we meet again.